What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Monday morning to you and welcome to this devotional series. We, this week, are wrapping on the book of Proverbs. I think next weekend is the 30th and 31st, and those are the final two chapters of Proverbs. So Friday is going to end us on the 29th, and that'll be a wrap for us. And then big announcement, pay attention to this. We will be pausing devotionals during the month of August. And honestly, it's just to give me a break. I've been doing these devotions every day since COVID started pretty much. And so anyway, I just need a break. And so a little pause between all the building stuff that's consumed my time and planning for the future and all that. I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the month of August for a little sabbatical break from devotionals. And anyway, we'll pick back up. But in September, I do have a brand new series of devotions starting in September after Labor Day. It's going to be good. But let's dive in. It is Proverbs chapter 25 today, and it is so good. Proverbs chapter 25. This is what I've noticed. This is my second time going through the book of Proverbs, and I thought I'm going to hit different Proverbs this time around. There are so many good Proverbs, and I can't touch them all, and I don't think I'll come back to Proverbs for a really long time. So rather than just doing one proverb, I'm going to throw a bunch at you. Let me throw a few at you. So Proverbs chapter 25, pause and go read it for yourself. Come back to me. But this is the one I want to land on first. It's verse 6. It says, "Do not put yourself forward in the king's presence or stand in the place of the great. For it is better to be told, 'Come up here,' than to be put lower in the presence of a noble." I think there's a principle in here that we need to pay attention to. As a matter of fact, I call it the shotgun principle. When you're kids, you ever done this? When you're kids, you get trained on, as soon as you leave the front door and the car is in eye view, you can call shotgun, and that means you get the front seat. Every once in a while as a kid, though, you wouldn't be paying attention that there was another adult, and you could call shotgun all you wanted. And I remember doing that. I called shotgun, and I jumped in the front seat, and then the grown-up came along and was like, get in the back, right? Get in the back seat. And I remember it is so discouraging. You called shotgun and now you're getting shoved in the back seat. And the point is this, just stay humble, be humble. It is way better for people to say, "Hey, you're being too humble. Get up here. Come on." Versus, "You're being a little arrogant. You're being a little presumptuous. Go to the back seat." Just live a life of humility. That's what I would say. Verse number 11, powerful scripture. "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver." A word fitly spoken. So remember this about your words. Obviously, big picture is like you're speaking life, not death. But think about the subtlety. He goes, no, a word fitly spoken, meaning with your words, you're trying to say the right thing at the right time, and you're trying to avoid saying the wrong thing altogether. But when we get right there, you're like, no, sometimes you can say the right thing at a wrong time. You ever done that before? And so anyway, no, it's fitly spoken. And so what I want to do is be a person that's so careful with my words and so thoughtful for my words that before I speak, I think, man, is this the right setting? How is this going to affect them? Can I encourage them, uplift them? What are the words that really fit the moment perfectly? Because if you can do that, he says a word fitly spoken, and he has this, I don't even know what this means other than it's awesome. It's an apple of gold in a setting of silver. Well, all I can think is if you put a gold apple and then you wrap it in silver, that thing's valuable. Well, a word fitly spoken is incredibly valuable. Look at verse number 16 with me. This one's so good. "If you have found honey, eat only enough for you, lest you have your fill of it and vomit." Definitely kind of a moderation type scripture that sometimes you can have too much of even a good thing until you kind of spoil it. And so I just think it's worth kind of like considering, hey, don't overdo it. Don't go overboard. Sometimes moderation is the right way to go. Now, the funny thing about wisdom, and we're going to learn this here later in the week, wisdom needs a context because sometimes you need to go all in. Right? Like sometimes you just got to go for it. Like I think about Joshua, right? When he went to the Jordan River and they got to cross over and God's like, "I'm not parting that till you put your foot in. You got to get in on this one." And so sometimes moderation, sometimes being reserved, being patient is best. And sometimes actually stepping out in faith is best. And so wisdom requires context. But remember this, you can go overboard and not have moderation. Here is a really good one. Again, another social one here. 17. Verse 17 says, "Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you." You know what he's saying here? Be careful that you don't wear people out. Be careful that you don't overstay your welcome. Be careful that you don't tax people too much and become obnoxious. You don't want to do that. Like, as a matter of fact, I learned this from Seinfeld. I love the 90s. I did a Seinfeld sermon. George Costanza was a really funny guy in Seinfeld, and he learned this principle. He would be a guy that would totally make a mess of things or get on people's nerves or whatever. And so he had this moment where he made everybody laugh, and then he left immediately. And he goes, that's the key to life. Don't stay too long, because what he learned is the longer I stay, the more likely I am to mess it up. Let me get in, have a great moment, make everybody laugh, and then get out of there, right? And so anyway, so good. I'll give you one more verse just as we close. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Remember this, self-control, self-discipline is a fruit of the Spirit, and it will protect your life. Church, I love you so much. I hope you're soaking in this wisdom. It's so fun to read these with you. God bless you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow morning.